So I thought this would be a nice start to the day anyway, a nice start to the video, seeing as I haven't made a video in about 2 years, just to give you all an idea of where I am. This is a town called Dînan in Brittany, in the north of France, northwest of France, and I'm up a river called the Rance, which is tidal, and it has two locks in between here and the sea, and it goes into the sea at the port of Saint Malo, and then you can go anywhere you want. So it's about 2.5 hours motoring down through the lock to the main lock that takes you out to sea. You can kind of spend the night there, and there's a couple of buoys that you can like swing on until the morning comes, whatever, to open the lock. Anyway, welcome to Waif. So Waif is a boat I bought last year in the north of Ireland, in a place called Strangford Lock, and I did a little refit on her in between lockdowns, and then I sailed her back single-handedly via Southern Ireland and then Newlyn in England, and then across to the far west of Brittany, a place called Labavrac, and then on to Dînan. And I've kind of been here ever since. You know, I mean, it's been winter as well, so I haven't, you know, with the COVID and everything, you can say that you're stuck, but I'm not really stuck. But you know, this is a great place to be. You know, the port is very reasonable, very friendly, and you know, I live on board in between here and some land that I bought with a cabin in the woods, but we'll talk about that later. But here you go. So that's Waif. She's a gaff rig cutter. She's a Hilliard, 28 foot, built in 1929. Pitch pine on oak frames, pitch pine planking. She was completely refit between 1998 and 2003, something like that. Not the previous owner, but the one before, was a ship's carpenter, and he literally took the boat to pieces and rebuilt her, replacing lots of the ribs and lots of I think the front end of the keel, I think the stem was replaced, and you know, but you know, she's a beautiful example of a Hilliard 28. I might be wrong. I think there was 7, but I've got a feeling it might be 5 that were built, but it might have been 7. And you know, a typical old Southern English fishing boat, developed over years, probably to the peak of evolution, you know, hull-wise and sail-wise, and then turned into like a gentleman's cruiser, and with a cabin and everything. And I don't think this was a fishing boat, but it was designed on that, and it was one of the later designs as a you know, a gentleman's weekend boat or racing boat or whatever. And there you go. And so I'm just doing some work on her at the moment. I've just been stripping off the wood around here to do some wood oiling or varnishing, or even lasure, what they call here in France, which is what you put on outside cabins and that, which I've got to look into a bit. But that's it's a product which is kind of like it's oil based. You know, there's going to be die-hard people who say, no, don't do it, don't put that on wood. But, you know, if it protects the wood and it lasts and it looks okay, then why not? You know, I mean, lasure didn't exist in the old days, but it does now, and it might just be as effective. So, whatever, if it protects the boat and prolongs her life, then I'll do that. If not, varnish. If not, maybe just wood oil, linseed oil, just to just to get the wood to close up again, because as you can see here, like the grain's opening up, so that's just where she's dried out, and like the frost has come down, dried out. So, you know, a bit of sunshine on that, and I'll, you know, put some oil in, maybe like get it filled up with oil, and then when that's dry, put some sealant on the top or something. I don't know, I've got to think about all that. I've got some time anyway. We've got some nice weather this week, so that's that. Anyway, that's Waif. Town slowly opening up, waking up. Birds singing all around. It's idyllic, really. Go and have a look inside, shall we? Just let the camera adjust to the light a bit. Should be alright. Got all my music equipment set up at the moment. I've got a band practice this afternoon, which is like, I think it's our 5th practice, and we're getting pretty good at it. Hopefully after the lockdown. That's my fridge. That's a Dometic fridge, so it's a low amperage, really efficient, and doesn't draw a lot of power from the batteries. There I've got my computer. I can use it for navigation, but it's also like it's a custom Mac, and the guy who built it for me, a bit of a genius, he fit the workings of the computer in this old radio front, so all that inside there is a Mac. He's a custom Mac, and then I just bought a screen and we connected it all up. He's busy doing my electrics at the moment. That's the only thing that really needs a bit of an overhaul, really. So he's already swapped out all the old board and everything and put it up here. Great job. And here, that's for the engine starting button and all that. So we're going to change all that into a bit of a better system. Got a good music system with a good speaker down there. There's the woofer. And I haven't got a pet dog, but I've got a woofer. And there we go, barometer. Nice barometer and a clock. I found those in a lovely shop in Ireland. They're like antique sort of things. Really, I went for good ones, accurate ones. Barometer. What are we looking at today? There you go. Clock. A couple of books to read. Got this pressure cooker the other day, so I've got to give that a go. Apparently this was the oven that belonged to the drummer out of Pink Floyd, so there's a little claim to fame. I don't know how it ended up on Waif, but it was nicked off him and installed on Waif. So if you ever watch this video, mate, I've got your cooker. That's a great galley. Got some deep sinks here. Oh. Couple of deep sinks. Hasn't got a saltwater tap, but I'm not going to do any round the welding sort of stuff on this boat. So, you know, I've got two 150 litre water tanks under these bench seats each side. One there, and they both fill from the deck, and through those pipes in the corners. So 300 litres of water, I mean, that's all right. You can drink, you can boil it and drink it. I wouldn't drink it like just like that, but I boil it and use it in coffee and stuff. And then you've got like a little walkthrough. The guy, when he rebuilt this inside, it would have been like 2 separate cabins and with doors in between. He took all that out and redid the bulkheads and then put these big oval these oval supports in. So that must be really strong, because that shape's strong. If you imagine it being compressed from the sideways, that's a really great idea. And that's one piece of wood that goes around there, and he steamed it to fit it in there, so that's brilliant. And here is a little wood burner. Can't see it very clearly at the moment because the light's not that great, and that's hot as hell, eh? You get that on, you're in here in a t-shirt when it's snowing outside, and it was snowing earlier this year and I had it going, and really hot. But since then I've had here's my little bedroom. So that's like a little double bed. I mean, it's massive for me, just on my own, and got a bit of storage up the front there, and right in the forepeak under that life raft thing, that life throwing thing, there is a sea toilet which is fully working and it's really good. And normally when the bed's down, you've got a little bench seat there you can walk through, and you could put a curtain up and squat on the sea toilet if you wanted. But I've always been a bucket and chuck it sort of guy. It's a lot simpler, no working parts, and you can just chuck it over the side and wash it out, and it's great, isn't it? Put a bit of bleach in it if you need to, and a piss bottle, so that's about that. So yeah, she's a great home. I love her. I mean, it's like living in a small studio. If I need to wash and stuff, strip wash on here, hot water I can boil. I normally put a bowl on the step there, just there. Keep the bowl behind here. It's one of these collapsible bowls, so I'll just put that there, fill it up with water, stand in front of that, and then here I've got a mirror, can chuck that up, have a shave, you know what I mean, chuck it down the sink, it's all done. But if not, just over the road there, down there somewhere, is a toilet and shower block, which is all free, comes with the port, so I can just go over there and use that as well. It's got a great washing machine, and yeah. So there we have it, Waif. I don't know, this is possibly the first video of Waif. I haven't seen any others posted. I mean, there's loads of photos and loads of history about her. Hang on, I'll just turn the camera around. There we go. Loads of history and loads of photos. We go there. But I think it's the first video, so hopefully from now on, I'll just do a few videos about what I'm doing in life, moving about. If I'm going somewhere on Waif, I doubt it for a while. So I'm just going to kind of sit here for a bit and do the maintenance and just make it look pretty, and maybe do a few trips locally around the coast and stuff like that later on if the lockdown ends. We're allowed to navigate at the moment in between 6 in the morning and 6 at night. But the problem is, because of the tide, obviously, and the river's tidal as it gets a little bit further down the river, you're confined by those limitations. You've got the tide, you've got the times of when they open the locks and the barrage which goes into the sea. I think one of them only opens once a day at the moment, and they probably try and coincide with high water. But then you've got obviously, like with the currents and depending on what they call here in France the coefficient. Whether you've got the lowest of the low tide and the highest of the high tide, or whether you've got like a medium tide giving you more water everywhere you go. So you know, to plan something normally, you know, you've got to take all those things into account. And but you know, if you've only got from 6 in the morning till 6 at night to go anywhere, that also restricts you as well. So rather than have the hassle or rush out into some bad weather or like currents against me and stuff like that, I've just given the whole idea up for now. You know, I mean, I can maybe potter up and down the river a little bit with some friends and do something like that, but and leave it at that for now, you know. But like I said, I've also at the same time last year I bought a cabin and a bit of land in a place called Genrock, which is not far from here, about 20 minutes up the road. And so it's a nice contrast. So there, I mean, here I live simply, but there I live even more simply, you know. And I've got my old camping car, and I've got a cabin which I'm going to renovate, and I've got a garden which I'm going to grow, and I've got all kinds of stuff going on there as well. So anyway, so that's it really. So yeah, I mean, what else to say? I think that's all that's going on at the moment. Life is okay. You know, I just kind of get up in the morning, I do what's in front of me. You know, don't think too much about the situation that's going on. You know, I mean, obviously there's thoughts that come into mind about vaccines and stuff like that. Got to see how it all pans out, really. You know, if they order me to have a vaccine before I can go to another country, I'll have one. When I was in the army years ago, I remember before going, I can't remember where it was we were going now, somewhere in the east. I had to have like 5 vaccines in one day. You know, I mean, I'm left with a hole in my arm that's never healed properly, but you know, so vaccines do things locally to the skin and stuff like that. I don't know. And this vaccine they're proposing at the moment, you know, it's taken less than a year to make it, you know, but long-term effects, you know, they can't say, can they? Because, like, you know, it's not even been a year, so we don't know anything about that. So I don't know enough about anything biological and vaccine wise to really have an opinion, but that is one thing that does kind of go ding in my head. You know, has technology advanced enough, like it has with everything else, that a viable vaccine can be created that's safe within that amount of time? You know, we don't know. We're all individually different. You know, we'll see what happens. But I guess that's the only lurking sort of thing in my head at the moment. Everything else is kind of okay. I just get up in the morning, potter about, do what I do, play music. I mean, that's something I've been looking and hoping to come in touch with some people who play music, you know, who I can, you know, gel with, probably for a few years now, and it's just never happened. But here I met 2 guys, guitar player, and his background's kind of rock, blues, slide guitar and stuff like that, Hendrix sort of style, and a bass player who can adapt to anything. He's a bit of a genius on the bass, and I play what I play, and we kind of fit together nicely. So we're trying to develop something that by the end of the lockdown, we'll maybe be able to do a concert, probably outside first. Apparently they do stuff on the quay here in the summer, you know, normally little festivals and things like that, so maybe we'll be able to do something. So that'll be another little avenue to follow up, and we'll just see what happens, eh? But apart from that, you know, life is as it is, and all good. Just pottering about, wondering what I'm going to do next week. Probably just continue with the varnishing. I'll probably do a bit of filming around that, but I just wanted to do a little first video like that, just to kind of introduce you all to what I'm doing at the moment. So we'll just leave it there. I'll say ta-da and see you soon.